Right. Before we make inroads into the theme of social cognition, it'd be useful at this point just to remind ourselves of a few things we've seen in the course of this module that are going to be relevant. So this is just a little bit of revision in this video. It'll be relatively straightforward. First of all, when we discussed human development, we noted just how helpless humans are at birth and how long it takes for them to finish their process of biological maturation. It takes about 20 years, somewhere between 15 and 21 years. There's no hard and fast limit there. We are very altricial animals. We differ greatly from those who are capable of taking care of themselves shortly after birth. And in that long developmental period, we know that for any altricial animal, there's a chance for the biological development to be fine-tuned by the circumstances in which the creature finds itself. That means a settling into a specific kind of environmental niche. Now, in humans, of course, our environment is primarily other humans. That means settling into a linguistic and cultural niche. That means becoming a human among humans. And that should remind you of the work of Lev Vygotsky, who we met, who was doing his work in the Soviet Union shortly after the Russian Revolution. His perspective allowed him to observe that learning is always done in a social context, that those skills and capacities that we develop, we do so first of all together with other people, only later achieving the remarkable ability to internalize those capacities. So that the meaning and significance of the world that we encounter comes from the web of social relations we live among. The zone of proximal development was one way of acknowledging this way in which our skills, capacities, and abilities are knitted into the very fabric of social life. And then when we were looking at language and we were discussing the evolution of language, which is a big mystery, we noted a very interesting hypothesis, which is due to Michael Tomasello, the cooperative eye hypothesis. And this starts with the observation that of all the great apes, only humans have a white sclera to the eye. Only humans have this remarkable contrast between the center of the eye, the pupil and iris, and the eyeball itself, the white sclera. And the result is that we are constantly sending out a very clear signal of what we're paying attention to and where we're looking. Now, gaze, the business of looking at and around each other, is a very, very important part of social interaction among humans. If you stare at someone too long, you'll get punched. It's a very, very important variable. We know that patterns of eye contact in autistic individuals are radically different. And we observed that if you make an ape have a white sclera, like in Planet of the Apes, they suddenly look real human and crafty. But for our point of view, what's really important about this is that human infants from a very, very early age are following where their caregivers look and very rapidly coming to be able to manipulate where their caregivers look so that they are, as it were, swimming in folds of joint attention all their lives. Joint attention means that we share an experience. It means that we pay attention to the same things. We parse the world in similar ways. And infants rapidly learn not only to check where other people are looking and to follow their gaze, but even to direct their attention. And they've done all this before they're even 2. So humans and apes share an enormous amount of genetic material. They seem to have very big differences in their cognitive economy, in the manner in which their mental lives are made up. Language is very important here. This remarkable property of human lives, that we pay attention in the same way to the same things, is very suggestive, and it suggests that we can begin to understand how human social life has developed the characteristics that it has, with only a minimal reliance on biological change in evolution. So that's some of the things that we've hit on that are relevant in this, and we'll begin after this with the next lecture, which to begin to ask what kind of a social animal is the human.